All right, guys, it's 11 o'clock. This is video number 15 of Stonewall. And honestly, I'm going to say this is probably the most important video. This is all the small details. These little things will help you a lot in the Stonewall. So let's get right into it. I'm even putting it on the side so you guys can see it. A lot of these things I've kind of mentioned throughout all the videos. But let's go ahead and start with Queen E2 is always a good move. You know, ironically, this is the position. It's not. I mean, you can still do it, but you don't need to. So just talking like here or these King's Indian setups, like look for Queen E2. Very useful move. You're going to see it a bunch here and there. Now, another one, DJ Khaled. I'm actually going to flow right into this from this position. Okay, so let's go here, knight c6, castle. We're going to say bishop d6, knight d2, and queen b6. So the reason this is a very good thing to know is I've actually seen some of my students lose a pawn this way, and the problem is once you lose one, it gets harder and harder. So once you see queen b6, just know go king h1. Don't mess around with this line of fire. So the reason why. So let's say that we go knight e5. We outpost. It's a normal thing that we do. Take on d4, take on d4, and now they have a very sneaky move. They can go knight takes, pawn takes, and then bishop takes e5. They have this line of fire. Now, just to show you guys why we go king h1, let's say king h1, let's say castle, and now let's say knight e5. Obviously, this would not work. Sorry, obviously that would not work. I'm starting to do so many videos. I'm having fun. All right, so take. So obviously this would not work now because there is no pin. We would laugh at them and take this bishop. So if you see queen b6, just know, like, watch out for the line of fire. Just go king h1. Whenever you see this, king h1. Very simple solution, and then you just get back to work. All right, so another one. When do you push these pawns in front of your king? Let's do this in a more... Yeah, so let me show you when you do it and kind of when not to do it. So what you really want to know is when the center is closed, that is when you want to push these pawns. So a very common one that you're going to see is this bishop g4 variation. Queen takes, e6, let's say bishop d3, let's say here, castle, castle. So right now you got the grippers. You got the big wall stopping him from doing any of this stuff, any of this. So here we can push the pawns. Now, a lot of times there's going to be some chaos. Something's going to happen. I'm trying to think, like, how could I get a position where the center is open? I mean, let's just say, like, something like this, knight f3, take, bishop d. Actually, let's say they do something like this. No, but actually this makes sense. I'm even trying to think. Basically, okay, right now we would not rook lift because the center's open. And also, do not push the pawns in front of your king. Just know if somehow this stuff falls apart, don't push these pawns. Only do it when the center is closed, if that makes sense. All right, next. Okay, so we talked about this in the rook lifting video, but I'm going to go over it again because it is very important. So let's say bishop d3, bishop d6. So actually, we're going to go over two things here. So let's say bishop e7, right? So bishop e7, castle, castle. And now here, we're going to go knight d2. So we go knight d2 first before we outpost because after knight d2, we prevent knight e4. Now we can freely rook lift and do our thing. We're happy here. But now this is something that is very sneaky, but you want to know. If bishop d6, castle, castle, do not go knight d2. Because if you go knight d2 here, he can take on d4, and after e takes, f4 is hanging. Once again, it's not the end of the world, but we don't want to lose a pawn. So how do we solve this problem? We have to go knight e5, and we pray that they don't go knight e4. They can do it. We can even take here because they got the weak pawns. So it's not even like a huge problem. But yeah, so the bishop on d6, don't go knight e2 because you will lose this pawn. Sometimes you'll get lucky and they won't see it, and you just carry on. But in general, try to avoid taking that chance. So okay, we got this. Okay, so another one we're going to do is if they go f5 or f6. So, okay, let's carry on this way. Let's say here, this. Let's say they start taking, take here. Now here we would rook lift, right? So let's say f6 or they go f5. So if they do either of these, en passant. En passant, always a cool thing to do. Stonewall is one of those openings, you'll see it a lot. But we en passant, or if f6, we take here. And the reason we do this is our strong side is this king side. This is where we want to attack. That means that you want to trade pawns on your strong side so that you can attack them. Because if they go f5 and you do not go en passant, remember you only have one move to do it. If you go rook h3, it's blocked. Of course, you can still kind of make things happen, but it's a lot easier when everything is open. So we got pretty much all the big ones out of the way. The last thing that I want you guys to know, and honestly, as you get better, you see this less, which is kind of funny. Let's say f6. Just always watch out for this e5 break. We know it in the King's Indian, but just in these weird positions like this, for example, like here, here, and maybe even here, like he wants to go e5. We can go h3. We can also go bishop b5. Just watch out for this. Like, for example, bishop d3 here would actually be kind of problematic because after this, they have threat in e4. If we take, they go knight takes, and then we got some problems. Our wall got shattered. So really try to prevent them from shattering the wall with e5. And that's pretty much it. Like, probably this should be the last video you guys watch of all of them. The review sheets are here. I still have some work to do, as you can see from some pictures. Honestly, at the end, review sheet will have all the pictures. And honestly, it's already like 2/3 of the way there for a book. So, yeah, so these are all the small little things that you want to know. Definitely watch all the videos. And then, honestly, you'll be a Stonewall god. Up until 1400, even more, you're going to know exactly what to do. And you're going to have great positions.